Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's August 24th, and if you haven't noticed, we are back in the channel. YouTube was very helpful yesterday. I may make a video about this entire process over the next few days, but we're just going to dive right into the weather here because we have so much to talk about over the next few days. Right now, we're looking at the visible satellite imagery. You can see the sun rising across the Pacific Ocean. Look at all the lightning out there. This vortex spinning across the Gulf of Alaska, and our next bit of energy here that's going to approach the west coast of North America will come from out here, and we're going to pay very close attention to it because it could bring some dynamic weather back across even places west of the Cascades. Could bring a nice lightning show across the region. Speaking of lightning, there are thunderstorms ongoing as we speak. Eastern Oregon, southern Oregon Cascades, and even trying to move towards the I-5 corridor a little bit there, just off to the south and east of Eugene. And this is monsoon moisture in place, streaming back across the area. You can also see that stratus layer moving towards some of the coastal regions there as well. Let's zoom in a little bit and kind of see that moving all the way up towards Quileute right now. But across a lot of western Washington, southwest BC, nice sunny skies this morning, and you can see the ongoing thunderstorms still going on this morning. That's going to be a recurring theme here over the next few days for the Pacific Northwest. So taking a look at lightning strikes over the last 24 hours, again, just kind of showing you where this has been over the last 24 hours. Nothing for Washington or BC just yet, but that will be changing. Now, looking at 925 millibars, just kind of showing you that we're still dealing with the general offshore flow here as we go on in through tomorrow across the region. Strong northerlies out here. We're being protected by the ridge. We don't have any onshore flow coming in here to help us cool down. But some of the clouds will be moving across the area, and it will be kind of suppressing some of the high temperatures here, making for a very difficult high temperature forecast. More on that here in a moment. But do your part to prevent wildfires. It's very dry out there. We got fire weather watches, red flag warnings. We got extreme heat warnings across the region. If you want to beat the heat, get to the Washington coast, the Strait of Juan de Fuca, Whidbey Island, the San Juan Islands, because once you get inland, it gets pretty darn right warm pretty quick. And the same thing for the Willamette Valley here. I mean, just Portland, again at 100 degrees yesterday. If you want to beat that heat, get out towards the coastal area because the Willamette Valley is just absolutely baking. Now, Medford also talking about the thunderstorms. Nice graphic. I like it when they bring this up. And this monsoon air mass back up across the region and potentially all the way on in through Wednesday. So nice graphics from Medford. Boise, I like it when they show this as well. Upcoming week, moistening atmosphere will bring thunderstorm potential and all the way out towards Missoula, Montana. Spokane talking about it as well. Kind of ignore that for now. I'll show you where these thunderstorms are going to be coming here in a moment. But there's day one, there's day two, and there's day three. And you start to see it include some of the Seattle, Portland metro and places west of the Cascades. And I also want to look at this to see if it's talking about any kind of isolated dry. It is. It's showing that isolated dry here for today for portions of Oregon. That just means that some of these thunderstorms are probably not producing enough precipitation to put out any fires that they may cause. And we go on through day two. Looks like it's a little bit slow here today. We'll just let's let it load. Oh, nothing yet. Okay, so taking a look here. Seattle, 5th 90-degree day of the year. And pretty warm out there. We might be headed for a 6th day today. It's going to be going down to the wire yet again. And look at Portland, latest back-to-back 100-degree days ever. This was pointed out to me by Garrett Hartung. Give him a follow on Twitter at Hartung Weather. He's a meteorologist down there in Portland, especially if you're down there in that region. Give him a follow. So now taking a look at where we are right now, there's the ridge protecting us, allowing this clockwise rotation of this monsoon moisture to be brought back up all the way across the Pacific Northwest. There is our low pressure center, our vortex sitting out across the Gulf of Alaska. This is where that lightning was out over the open water. We put this into motion, and now what the big question is here is, where is this energy going to go? Is this going to drop down the coastline far enough to bring us that southeasterly flow and bring some dynamic lightning shows here to western Oregon, Washington, and BC? Or will it come a bit further north and kick the onshore flow on even harder, cool us down, bring some precipitation, but not nearly as much convection west of the Cascades? So that's something I'm watching with every single run with bated breath. It's like watching a sporting event. Very entertaining. You can see it drop down the coastline right there. That's where you want to see it. You want to see it off the Oregon-California border there and start to bring that upper level flow back out of the southeast. Now, I know not everybody likes lightning. You got to take into account that I am a storm chaser and I do root for this kind of stuff. So I do feel for you if you don't like the lightning there as well. But anyway, we'll see how this turns out. And then you can kind of see it lifts northbound here. And then we start to cool things down as we go through next weekend. Now, here's 700 millibars. So this is what I'm watching as we go. You can see that upper level low approach the coastline here, and you want that southerly flow, that defluent flow aloft that brings a convergence down low and the divergence aloft, and that can create thunderstorms and bring some of that instability back west of the Cascades. So if this sets up a little bit further north, then it's going to shunt that instability off to the east a little bit quicker there. And then we scroll on in towards the end of the week, and finally it lifts north and it will cool us down, at least temporarily. Some of the models are showing this next big low out here retrograding and allowing another ridge to build as we go on into early September. So I'll be watching that closely as well. So 6-hour precipitation type as we go. This is thunderstorm activity. Oregon, Northeast Oregon, off into portions of Idaho. Nothing for Washington. It doesn't look like for today, according to the European last night's anyway. And then we go on into Monday, and you can see again, get some decent thunderstorm activity across Oregon Cascades out towards Medford there as we go on into Monday. But you see some of this precipitation starting to pop off over some of the Cascades. Again, that could be thunderstorm activity there across the Washington Cascades all the way up into British Columbia. And then as we go on in through Tuesday, you'll see that develop even across some of eastern Washington. We're going to get some thunderstorms out of this, some monsoon thunderstorms. And again, the precipitation showing up for the Washington Cascades there as well. Better coverage on Tuesday. And as we go through Wednesday, again, look at this. Cascades are going to start lighting up on Wednesday. Oregon coast, Washington coast, some convection starting to come off west of the mountains there as this upper level low gets a little bit closer. The monsoon moisture is still in place. And look at that on Wednesday. Some pretty good rainfall amounts across the Cascades. That would be in the form of thunderstorms. You can also see some of this precipitation getting down to the lower elevations towards Olympia, maybe the Seattle metro here as we go on into the day Wednesday, maybe Portland. Thunderstorm activity starting to develop there as we go through that day. Then we go on into Thursday, and you can see with this low spinning here, with that unstable air mass moving back up over the region, no place is going to be safe from that thunderstorm activity. And look at this on the day Friday. This is probably convective activity here across Northwest Oregon and Western Washington, moving up across British Columbia here as we go through the day on Friday, bringing us that good old-fashioned summer thunderstorms here for the area. Now, let's talk about temperatures first before we look at the extended forecast in a little bit more detail. Daily 2-meter max temperature. Look at Seattle, maybe the 6th 90-degree day for the year coming up. Portland, I don't know if you're going to get 100 degrees again today. Some of the northwesterly or the westerly wind might be kicking in and keeping you just below 100. But look at Medford, 105. Tri-Cities, 102. Pretty darn right warm across the Columbia Basin. Boise, 95. Bend, Oregon, 95 as well. Look at in the Okanagan River Valley there, up to 100 degrees right on the Canada-Washington border. Some mid-90s up in the Fraser River. And at Vancouver Island, the interior, that can get very warm as well. Some mid-90s looking to be coming up here as we go through the day today. Now, tomorrow, little bit of a cool down for Seattle, but still very warm day there, 88 degrees, mid-90s for Portland. And we go through Tuesday, Wednesday. And again, mind you, this moisture will be moving up over the region here. So we're going to be dropping these temperatures off and suppressing them across the area. And then that trough gets closer as we go towards the end of next week when we start to cool things down. And you can see that reflected in these temperatures. This is the cross section. This is 10,000 feet at the top. We got the surface right here. So this is for Sunday right there. There's Monday, Tuesday, and then as that upper level low gets closer, we start to cool things down a bit. But look at what the GFS shows, and I'll also show you what the artificial intelligence shows you in the moment. You can see in a moment. You can see the next few days very warm, and then that upper level low comes close, and then we back things up again, and we bring another ridge maybe as we go through early September. No promises on that just yet. But now looking at the European artificial intelligence on the left versus the GFS on the right, Hawaiian Islands are the bottom left. There's Pacific Northwest. These are duplicate maps, just different models. Now we start to scroll through here, and there goes that low pressure center there, and it starts to bring that upper level low towards the coast. Now you see the differences here between the GFS and the artificial intelligence. If you want lightning, you don't want to see what the GFS is showing because it's going to shunt that instability off to the east a bit further. This will allow that instability to remain over the area and even be brought back off the Cascades. Some of those elevated thunderstorms kind of moving across the region. That's a better setup for thunderstorms there. So we still have some pretty good model discrepancy on what is to come as we go on in through next week. Now let's go off a little bit further. You can see that upper level low. It will cool us down there, but what happens here? Look at this big old vortex out here. This upper level low pulls away from the coastline on both the GFS and the artificial intelligence, allowing for this ridge to really redevelop here across the Pacific Northwest. And we would warm up yet again as we went through the early portion of September. But then you can kind of see a trough kind of swing down by us, probably would cool us off after that. So yeah, kind of interesting stuff. We'll be watching that over the next few days as well. And now one more look at things here with the K index on the artificial intelligence. So if last night's artificial intelligence shows that monsoon moisture, the instability here across the region, it moves up over the area, upper level low comes to the coastline. You can kind of see it pull it out a little bit across western Washington, southwest BC as we go on into the day Thursday, and then maybe Friday, another round of thunderstorms associated with that. So that is what we're watching. And the European ensemble, I'm just going to scroll through this here pretty quick, but you can see the European ensemble has that low setting up somewhere off the southern Oregon coast there. So again, we'll be watching closely. Total precipitation in inches. Let's scroll through there. And as we go through the day on, this is Tuesday. You can see by Tuesday, we do have some thunderstorms coming across the Cascades, but as we go through Wednesday, that starts to increase a bit there. And it starts to show some of that precipitation, again, getting brought out across Seattle, Everett, Bellingham, southwest BC as we go on into the day Friday. Another round of precipitation coming across the region there also. So again, this is going to be changing. This is a very dynamic forecast, so we have to pay attention to this on a daily basis. 6 to 10 day above, below, or above and above as we go through September 2nd. And again, thanks for everybody signing up for the Patreon page. Not a bad idea. If anything happens to the channel, come to the Patreon page for updates. And if something happens to the channel, I will be posting the videos on the Patreon page. And maybe I'll just do so anyway because I have a lot of new members showing up there. And I'll try to post updates like this with potential thunderstorms and whatnot. I'll probably try to do this on the Patreon page to reward all my most recent people who have signed up for that. So this is independently controlled of the YouTube channel now. I got it set up with a different email address. Patreon is very responsive to my requests. So hopefully if there's a problem with YouTube, come to the Patreon page. Link is down below. Yeah, wider view here. Monsoon moisture. Yeah. So the last steps of summer are upon us here. You know, we're going to be dealing with this heat and then maybe one more in September. And you can still get warm as you go through September or even early October. But for the most part, we're on the downward trend, and fall is eventually going to be coming here. Meteorological fall starts just over a week from now as well. So anyway, glad to have the channel back. I'll stop, chatting here, and I'll let you guys get this video, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.